As I say, this is a resources section where you assign resources. Now, what we mean by assigning resources here is that for each task, possibly you have material resources or human resources you want to use to handle that particular task. For example, mobilization to site. Now, mobilization to site can be Mr. John can be the officer in charge that will do anything has to do with mobilization. Okay. Now, one thing I want you to take note here is that you see, I just write Mr. John here, and then Mr. John is already attached to the task. That is the bar, the task bar. Okay. And then the same thing, I can still write I can still add to what I have there. Okay. I can still write, we need, maybe we need vehicle. Maybe we need vehicle for this mobilization process. Okay. So you see, you have attached the resources to this task. The same thing, let's talk about site clearance. Let's say you need an excavator. Or you need a tractor. Okay. For the site clearance. The same thing with laying of pipe. Okay. Laying of pipe and plumbing, you can assign the resources. If it's anything has to do with the resources, possibly you can actually add the costs. For example, if you want to add the cost, let's say it's a site clearance. Now maybe you have your lump sum of what is going to be required for site clearance. Now what you need is you can just put your actual cost, okay, and then you impute it. Possibly here is being shown in dollar, okay, but you know the other day I've shown you how you can actually set your currency to change, okay, so you can actually do your change from there so that it will now be showing in naira. So we continue. We'll talk about the other day we talk about projects where we do all the settings, okay, where we do the settings. But before we go to the main settings now, the other day where we continue, we are using like this very schedule now. We are using a standard calendar for it, right? So now, if we want to create our own calendar, because our last class, we don't actually create a new calendar. We use a standard calendar that follows the software. Okay, but now we want to create our own calendar so that you set it based on your own working time. Okay. As I said, our standard calendar starts from Monday to Friday, and we work 8 hours. That is to say, you work from 8 in the morning to 12, and then you have 1 hour break, and then you start from 1 to 5. Okay, so that is the standard calendar, where you can actually adjust the timing. You can reduce it. You can actually increase it. Okay, and then our Saturday is non-working days, okay? But we can actually, there are some organizations that work on Saturday, so you can make it, if you are doing your schedule, you can make that particular Saturday that you are working as a working day, okay? So all those things will be done using this change working time, which is creating calendar. So for me to do that, I'll click on change working time, all right? And then you see, we have the standard calendar. If you click on this arrow here, these are some of the calendar that I've used in terms of the tests. What I've changed, like this one is what I've just included now for the resources. And then we have the standard calendar, we have the night shift, then we have the 24 hours. Okay, so I'll pick the standard calendar and then I'll click on create new calendar. Okay, and then say copy of standard calendar, I can change it to workshop, just the name of the calendar. Okay, so you can write any name. You can just write it as my own calendar, or you can just write it possibly your company calendar. I can write maybe card structure calendar based on my company, or you can write it based on the project. Maybe if you are doing a program of work for a particular project, you can just say, okay, so maybe construction of 2-bedroom, or let's say 2-bedroom calendar, or client calendar. So it depends on any name that you can use. You can write anything as the name of the calendar. Then you click, make sure that you select, make a copy of the standard so that you will not start from new, like create a new base calendar. No, let's use the standard calendar and then we adjust it. Okay, because if you use a new base now, you're going to start everything, all the configurations from the beginning yourself, which is not advisable. So you can use a standard calendar, then you adjust it to suit your own calendar. Okay, so I'll click OK. All right, so I have card structure project here now. All right, so now the card structure project now copied from the standard calendar, which have all the features about the standard calendar. Okay, but the only thing is that there are some days that we don't need to work. Okay, there are some Saturdays that we don't need to work, or there are some Sunday that you don't need to work. Let's assume, for example, this Sunday now, let's say today is 27, right? Tomorrow is 28. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to work based on the fact that we are having a workshop. So tomorrow I'm going to work. So if I click on this, I'll come to this empty space here. Okay, and then I come to this environment and then I click to make it active. Okay, when you make it active, now you see that it selects that 28 where you're going to work. Then I click on detail. Okay, if I click on details now, it says set working time for this exception. Now, presently is the default that Sunday is non-working days. That's why you see that non-working day is active here. But now I want to make it working days, so I'll just click on this. So click on date, and then I make this as a working days. Now, if I use the same setting, the same date that we have here, and then I click OK. This is exactly what I want to show. This date now it become active that okay, this 28 now, which is Sunday now, is working time for May 28 is so time to so time, which I can at the same time adjust it. Okay, you can adjust it not to work the whole day based on your calendar. And then another thing, you can also do exceptional, which is the options here, which is that the same settings that we do during our first time in our project. That is the project information, where we start your working, your hour per day is 8, hour per week is 40, and then the day per month is 20. Okay, so you can go under your options, you can do all those settings as well. Okay, and then on your display, you have your display. Then under your symbols, we'll be using currency. You look for Naira, okay, which is NG. Okay, look for Naira, so you can see now it's Naira, and then I click OK. All right, so if I click OK now, and then I click OK from here, so you see exactly what I said. We have to actually set our actual cost from there to be Naira so that you can impute your cost from here. So all those things are done within the information, project information. Okay, then our working time as well, we will still have some exceptional. Okay, for example, now this is the working week, and then this is the exceptional. Okay, now exceptional means there are some days that you don't need to work, right? Even within this your working days, that is default. There are some days, for example, now tomorrow on Monday is public holiday, right? So you can set it as non-working days. So even your working days, like the way we set non-working days as a working days, you can, on the exceptional side, you can as well set your working days as non-working days. Okay, you can as well do that to make sure that you take total control of calendar, that you are the one that actually have every information or total control of your calendar. Okay, so that is how you do you change your calendar or set your calendar. Then another thing is reporting. Okay, like for example, now if you have your projects or you prepare your schedule, you can actually have a report or a kind of dashboard that can give you a good information about your project. For example, especially in terms of presentation, if you are using it for presentation, you have your dashboard or your resources report or your cost report or your progress report to actually show what you are doing, because at the end of the essence of project management generally is to actually track the progress of the job. Okay, if you actually if the project is moving well and then it's moving right, like the construction is well planned and then everything is working according to the plan, and then at the same time you can actually track the progress by seeing if that particular project is working based on how a project manager or a scheduler have actually scheduled that program. So now for you to actually see your report, for example, I can click on base after you have done all your arrangements, you have assigned all your resources, your predecessors and everything, because your predecessors actually show the relationship, because as you can see, this task that I have here is not linked, okay? But you all know how you can link your task. So the assignment that I've seen a lot of submit, I see a lot of link in there. So you all know how you link your task, because this link will actually create a good relationship on how those reports can be generated, how you can generate those reports. So if I click on dashboard, okay, and then I can click on more reports, okay, and then if it is resources, then I select it. Okay, so now we have overall over allocated resources. Now you see that this is the dashboard that will be showing on all your information that is assigned. So that is the information that you have already assigned to that particular task. Okay. Now on the other side, you can actually view it straight instead of going to the more reports here. You can actually view it straight from here, viewing all the cost overview and many other information that is necessarily required that you need from that your plan or your schedule. As I said, this is the dashboard. This is the kind of report that you will see. Maybe you are making a presentation for that your schedule that you do or something. You can actually generate more report for it. Okay, so that is how you can generate report or how you can actually get to report about your project. And then this report can also be printed the way we print our schedule. And then another thing is that I actually viewed somebody's assignment recently. I think the last person that sent his assignment, I saw that your page, your work is actually in that PDF is actually 2 pages. But now the first page is not full, not that the first page is full, and then you're having it in the second page, which is actually not right. And then if you remember the other day when I exported the view or the printer, I select a larger paper. For example, I can select possibly like A2 size. Yeah, okay, I can select A2 so that the whole project will enter one page. And then when in terms of you printing it, possibly you're not going to print it in that A2 size, right? But you can still print it in A3 and your work can still come out clearly. The essence is just to make sure that all your work, all your schedule enter the same page. Okay, so this is basically how you can set up your calendar, okay, and then generate your reports in project management using MS Project. Is there any confusion, please?
I said there's no question, sir.
Okay, all right. So as I said, the last training, what we did last week actually explained how the schedule is, and then I just show you how you can change your calendar, your working calendars, and then your project information in terms of if you want to add cost to it. But you know, in project management, we don't actually, how your schedule, mostly your cost is not involved, as in, you don't actually need to add cost to that to avoid confusion. So that should not confuse you because you don't accept otherwise, if your organizations require that you should add cost to it, okay? But if not, you don't actually need to add cost to that. All you need to do is to write your sequence of your construction and then write it down the way it's supposed to be and write the tasks, and then as well change your calendar if the standard calendar is not okay by you. But as I said, standard calendar is actually your base calendar that you'll be using, just that you have to adjust it. Maybe there are some days that you don't, your organization will not work, or there are some days that you would like to add to your working days. So that is the only thing that it could be required for you to make that necessary adjustments. Okay, so I don't know if anybody have any question in this.